Sean Fraser said he's happy with the Supreme Court decision on the ostriches. Let's have a look here what Sean had to say.
Here, the death of the ostrich cases, Minister of Justice, do you have any thoughts about the case not proceeding to the Supreme Court and whether the ostriches should end their lives?
Look, we obviously are pleased to see the decision of the Supreme Court. It's important that the Minister of Agriculture and CFIA are able to protect the health of the general Canadian public and of the food that we consume in the poultry industry as well. This is a decision that is following the science and evidence, and I'm sure my colleague who has conduct to file will have more to say today. Thanks so much.
You always use that word science. There you go. Here we go. And here's Scott Anderson, an MP, blasting the CFIA and the Liberal government on spending millions of dollars to conduct this. Let's just listen to what he has to say.
The Supreme Court ruling yesterday removed the last chance these decades-old ostriches had, and I sympathize with tens of thousands of Canadians who have been caught up in the drama unfolding on a farm in Edgewood, BC. For the past 10 months, this Canadian Food Inspection Agency operation has disrupted life in the peaceful town of Edgewood, BC, driven the farm deep into debt, and cost Canadian taxpayers millions of dollars in police overtime and agency costs. Perhaps most chilling has been the silence of both the Liberal Minister of Health and the Liberal Minister of Agriculture. They allowed this to drag out for far too long, keeping Canadians in the dark and even laughing at the plight of these people. Mr. Speaker, this is not how our government should treat our citizens. We still live in a democracy despite the Liberals' best efforts, and Canadians deserve to know what and why our government is up to.
And I'm going to say this here. In Kelowna, we had a problem a long time ago with people like to buy bunny rabbits at Easter. They would give them to their kids. They would buy these pet rabbits. And they would go and the pet stores would just buy loads of these rabbits, right? Because why not, eh? Because, you know, the people are going to buy them. So they load up for the Easter time, and they load up with these rabbits. And of course, what do people do with these rabbits? Are just like, the rabbit needs to go, because rabbits aren't really great pets, right? So they kind of like hop and poop, hop and poop, hop and poop. That's kind of their thing.
Twitch their nose. They do a lot of that.
You know, like cute little bunny rabbits. So they released them, and there was like, you know, rabbits doing what rabbits do. Rabbits procreate like none other.
Breed like rabbits.
And then so there was rabbits everywhere in Kelowna. Like, I mean, rabbits everywhere. Like, you go to the car dealers around Enterprise there was like rabbits gazillion. And then so, of course, people started complaining about these rabbits, like they're like vermin or something, these rabbits. So the city hired a contractor to go and exterminate the rabbits. I don't know if you remember this, but they caught one of the hired contractors boot stomping a rabbit.
Oh dear.
Like literally boot stomping, killing the rabbits by stomping on them with their boots. And I would say this is pretty much on par, because they basically opened fire with just like, well, these and here's an image of it here. This is where they lay. They opened fire on these ostriches, just like it was just like a shooting gallery. Is that the most humane way you could have done this, CFIA and RCMP? Is this is what you want your legacy to be? You're right up there with the boot stomping rabbit guy. Just unbelievable, inhumane. You could have carted them off somewhere and done this humanely. This was not humane. This was, you could have put them in trucks and taken them to a slaughterhouse and done it humanely, instead of having them shriek around while they watch their other people. You know what I mean? Like, they were the ones that were shot last would have been watching this carnage. The fear that you would have put into these ostriches in their last moments. You talk about this Liberal government as humanity. Somebody needs to be fired for this. Somebody needs to be fired for this. Like a lot of people. Sean Fraser. Let's remember who Sean Fraser is. Sean Fraser, formerly was it first immigration minister? Broke immigration.
I think that was the order. Right? Immigration, then housing.
Go pull an immigration chart, Sean Fraser. That's you. That's you right there. I don't care if you blame it on your boss, whatever, that's you. Then make him the housing minister. What's housing minister like? How's housing doing? And then now he's justice minister. And then Lightning Rod says I'm exaggerating. Which part's exaggerating? Which part am I exaggerating? Which part would you think is exaggerating? The evidence is right there in front of your face.
I would just say as well, the some group. Wait, I'll find it. Yeah, the Investigative Journalism Foundation. They did a access to information thing, freedom of information request a while ago, and they found out that what's supposed to happen is 3 CFIA workers are supposed to hold the bird down. One is supposed to hold the head, and then they're supposed to, it says intracranial injection. So it's supposed to inject them in the head with some sort of, I don't know what this is, some sort of poison. And they said that that would be quick and minimally stressful to the bird. Although it may be emotional for owners to watch, it says. But they didn't even do that. Like, yeah, that would be quite tough to watch. But the plan was that they weren't going to see it anyway. But it does look like instead of doing that, all those gunshots that were heard, it looks like there's been some shootings. It's just strange that they didn't even follow their own manual.
I think anybody that's going to defend this is probably going to wear it later. So I would be careful about defending it.
Well, it's the callousness as well, isn't it? You said it. I mean, these people, the protesters, the owners, go on Facebook. They're all over Facebook. The videos are everywhere. You know, they're in tears. They're seriously traumatized and really, really upset about this. Like, you'd think that they would have shown a bit more tact, try to do it a bit more quietly and
I don't know. I eat meat.
humanely.
That's not the point. That's not the point, Lightning Rod. It's not the point that you eat meat. The point is, are you okay with bunny stomping, like stomping on bunnies? Are you okay with just slaughtering like this? Is that okay for you?
But they weren't going to eat them anyway. I know not all animals are used for meat.
Just stop with
And the
liberal-
relationship is obviously different. An animal that you don't eat, like a dog or something.
Stop with it making excuses for it. This was wrong. This was clearly wrong. Somebody needs to face the consequences for this. Just like they face the consequences for stomping on a bunny.
It looks too messy and it looks aggressive, doesn't it? That's the other thing. It looks angry, and it's like
it looks like
men in with guns and boots on, going killing animals. Like, it just looks wrong.
You dared stand up to the government. That's what you get. No different than that bakery in Victoria when her bank account was frozen for donating $250 to the Freedom Trucking Convoy. She was made a lesson. There was a lesson being taught there. That's okay if you don't think that bunny stomping is the same thing. We'll disagree there. And this is a bad look, a bad look. And we haven't really got involved in the Australian reporting on it, but I mean, whether or not they decided that this had to happen, then load them up in trucks, take them somewhere else, and deal with it just like you deal with cattle and stuff like that. Don't deal with it. You traumatize the owners, you traumatized everybody. Anyway.
And did they have to do it right away? I mean, that's the other thing. Did it have to be like hours later? It's just, callous. Callous is the word, I think. It wasn't handled by somebody that understands human emotions, I don't think.
I think it was done just intentionally. Anyway, I don't know the answer, but it's another shameful. But the trucker convoy going in there with horses like the Romans did too, again, an abuse of power and privilege, and that's been proven out too. That's been proven out. That's what the court said. It was unjustified to use the Emergencies Act on these peaceful protesters that had honking, noise violations and parking violations. Anyway.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.